Okay. In the UK, you set up a business online in 24 hours using Companies House. It's very straightforward. You can turn up at your local bank branch, identify yourself. They'll only need PDF of your UK documents, and you've got a bank account open in about 3 to 4 days. In Spain and Portugal, slightly different insofar as the formation process is a little bit more complicated. In Portugal, the process can be done online, but it's not as quick as the UK version of incorporating a company. So it can typically take between 1 to 2 weeks after you've deposited the documentation to their equivalent of Companies House. I would say in Spain, because they use a notary, it's the old notarial style, and therefore nothing is as quick as depositing electronically in the UK. There are some parts of Europe that do that, and they take sort of 24 to 48 hours to incorporate, but you should typically estimate 7 to 21 days for Spain and Portugal for companies to be set up. Spain is great for UK companies that are thinking to set up. It has low labour costs, highly skilled workforce. The country has a good quality of life, standard of living, and there are opportunities because of the state of the property market to hold properties in a company for future investment. Spain is slightly different insofar as you'll need to apply for an NIE number, which is your identity number that identifies you in Spain, to the tax authorities, any form filling that needs to be done, to the banks, anything really, and everyone has that. If you're director of a Spanish company, you'll need it. If you're a shareholder of a Spanish company, you'll need it. Once you have your NIE number, which can take anything from 2 weeks if you come through to open a European company, or if you apply for it directly at the Spanish consulate, it could take around 8 weeks to obtain. Once you have that, then you'll need to apply for a power of attorney, so that we can sort of set up the company on your behalf. You'll need to give us 3 names for approval by the equivalent of Companies House in Spain. And also that applies for Portugal as well. Once the name has been approved, which takes about 2 to 3 days, then we can start to apply for the company in earnest. Again, the minimum share capital is around €3,006. And if you have one shareholder, that shareholder deposits it from his personal bank account into the bank account in the name of the new company. If it's 2 shareholders, they then need to split the amount of share capital that needs to be deposited, and each one has to deposit half of that 3,006 from their separate bank accounts into the corporate bank account. Once that's happened, then the bank will issue a statement of capital that will then go to incorporate the company. You can at this point get a local tax number, but if you're operating within the EU, you'll need to apply for an Intracom EU VAT number. So in order to obtain the EU VAT number, it's necessary to have a physical presence in Spain, and therefore you need to have a physical serviced office and a member of staff. and those are the criteria basically that need to be satisfied. And once that happens, the EU VAT number will be granted anywhere from 1 month to 6 months, depending upon the activity of the company. So timescales for Spain will be typically about 4 weeks from the time that you gave us the documents to handle, and then another possibly 4 to 8 weeks for obtaining the EU intercom number, depending on the activity of the company. There are no specific industries as such that I would pinpoint as getting the highest number of inquiries, because most of the inquiries that come are very general. So they would typically come from import-export companies, trading companies, retail, architects, tourism, just a real range of activities across the board, and there's not one activity that I could pinpoint where we were getting the highest number of inquiries, because quite honestly, if you're looking to set up a company in either Spain or Portugal, you've got a specific reason in mind, and companies and individuals come from all over the place to us to set up. These companies do come because they're developing their businesses outside of the UK, either because they want to further the opportunities that they've developed within the UK, or they're looking for other opportunities in Spain or Portugal that wouldn't be possible in the UK. There are larger companies that are developing their subsidiaries. So they're setting up in Spain and Portugal to expand their existing businesses.